Hello and welcome to GRC33 Flash for Web. This is the navigation from scratch video, and this is part 2. And picking up where we left off, we are going to now take this button that we've created and we're going to drop this into another symbol that's going to be the actual container symbol for our button. And that's going to allow us to add some stuff to it to make it a little more button-like. So first thing we're going to do is, again, we're going to create a new symbol from an existing object on the stage. We right click on it, on that object on the stage, and we choose convert to symbol. And this is going to be called simple button symbol. But it's not going to be of the type button, it's going to be of the type movie clip. Click OK, and now I double click this. And now I can see I'm editing my simple button symbol, and it is not a button type, it is the symbol type of a movie clip. Now if I double click this again, you can see I'm editing now the basic button. The reason for that is because the button is dropped into the button simple button symbol. That doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. So now that we've got our simple button and it's inside of our simple button symbol, we are going to add a few layers to our timeline here to help keep things organized. Now, number one, this is the button and it's on this layer, so we're just going to call this layer button. And I'm going to create a new layer. Hello. I can't really. So we click on that icon right there, and that's going to give us a new button, and we're going to call that title. That's going to actually contain a text box, and we're going to also create a third layer called action script. This is going to contain our action script. So our button is done already, so I'm going to go ahead and just lock that layer because I don't need to add anything else to it. And I'm going to control space bar, and that's going to turn my cursor into a magnifying glass, and I'm going to zoom in on this. And I'm going to, on the title layer, I'm going to add some text box here. So I choose my text tool. I can see that my color is set at an alpha of 50%, so I'm going to go back and change that to 100%. And if I proceed with blue text on the exact same blue background, I'm never going to be able to see my text. So let's go ahead and change this to white. Okay. And starting the left edge of this text box, I'm going to drag over to the right. And I'm probably going to set my size . Probably should set the size first before drawing the text box. That's more like it. And I'm going to type the word unset. And make sure that this text box is centered and is the right width. And you can choose your own type if you want. It's generally a good idea for when you're first doing navigation is to choose something like Verdana or Arial, any of the sans serif typefaces. And I'm going to set this down and center it vertically as well as horizontally. If your text box, your text is over off to the left or to the right, what you want to do is with your text tool, go in and Control A to select the text, and down here under the paragraph settings, if it's not rolled down, just click that little arrow to roll it down, and you want to choose Center Justify on the text there. Okay, now we know that anytime we want to interact with something that's on the stage through ActionScript, we've got to give it an instance name. So with the text box selected, I want to give this an instance name. However, at static text, it's not instanceable. And the reason for that is static text is just that. It's static. You can't change it except through the authoring environment. So what we need to do is change the static text to dynamic text. So with the text box selected, we're going to click this drop down here and choose dynamic text. And we're going to give it an instance name of BTN-TITLE, button title. Alright, let's test so far and see how we're doing. Cool. Interactivity, awesome. Now watch what happens when I bring my mouse up to where the text box area is. Notice that my overstate is not being displayed until I get away from the text area. The reason for that is that the text box that we've dropped in there is interfering with the interactivity. It's actually breaking and taking focus away from that background element. So what we need to do is tell Flash through ActionScript that we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that this text box is ignored. And so we're going to choose our ActionScript layer and bring in our Actions panel. Alright, let's try that again. Oh, this is awesome. There we go. Okay, and we're going to bring in the Actions panel. And hopefully it doesn't freak anything out. Awesome. And again, we're on the ActionScript layer, so we're entering these. This ActionScript is going to go into that first frame there on that ActionScript layer. And we're going to tell the text, which has an instance name of BTN-TITLE, and the property that we want to change is mouse enabled. We want to set it to false. And that's a complete statement, so we end with a semicolon. So now button title dot mouse enabled equals false means that that title text will not be enabled for interactivity with the mouse. So when I hit enter and test my movie, when I roll up here, sure enough, it goes right through there. Alright, close out our preview window, and I'm going to move my Actions panel off to the side for just a minute. And this text box, that is going to contain the title of our button. And we can either set it here to read the instance name of the button and set that as the title text, but we're just going to actually set it through ActionScript in the main timeline, just to make it a little bit easier to understand for now. So as far as our button is concerned, we're going to go back to the main timeline, back to scene 1, and let's test this out. There it is. Now if I want to, I can take this symbol, hold down my Alt key, and I can drag 2 more of these guys here. And when I test, I have 3 buttons now, all named nothing and all with the text of unset. And so we're going to get into that on the next part, part 3.